here. This is Trent Knox show. Getting ready to go live. Here's 5 seconds. Let me see what is going on here. Okay, I need to connect to Facebook. Okay, I gotta go over here. I go to Facebook. I go to Trent Knox. Hold on to that one. Hold on to that one. Okay, let's see what we got here. Alright. Hold on here. Alright. Can't do that. Okay. 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 New episode. New episode. Alright. Let's go live here. Alright, y'all. It's Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Talk Show. Or Trent Knox Show was originally the Trent Knox. Oh, wait. Hold on. Here we go. Gotta go back here. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Save these changes. Okay. This is Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Talk Show. Sorry. Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Show. That's Trent Knox Talk Show. So, for those of you who have been listening to what I've got going on through the Austin Live and Local channel, through my personal Facebook, through my Twitter, public Twitter. I have 2 public Twitters actually. One of them's for the media content that I create, and then one's for I guess my friends and family. I don't know. Friends and family aren't really on there, but anywho, I'm going to be starting to do this Trent Knox show as often as possible. It seems like the most ultra micro budget production that I can put on as of right now. I'm working on getting together with Tanner Walters and getting a new studio built in his studio apartment. We're trying to garner new clients for the creators media production company and talent management agency. That's a variety of different things. We got different talents coming together to build a very good media structure for the digital age. So, I guess I started off kind of talking about the things that have been going on in my life since since for a couple of months haven't been able to do Austin Live and Local to the production scale that I want, but I definitely feel like it's not dead. I just feel like it's going in a different direction. Um, I was doing music, I was doing gaming, I was doing fashion, I was doing art, I was doing photography, I was doing all these things, and I still think they can all be done. I just don't think that it's going to be a weekly show. I think this Trent Knox show might be a weekly show, might be a daily show. I'd like it to make it a daily show, similar to like a Howard Stern or similar to a Stephen Colbert, or not really a nightly show. I can't particularly say when this show will go on or what will happen. I'm sure that structure, that line of structure will happen as I continue to do the show. Um, so let's get to it. What's been going on? So if you don't already know, I've been going through some issues with employment, uh, from whether that's contract work or that's um, part time, full time. You know, I I kind of I got into a bit of an issue when I was living in Colorado. Uh, Nothing like legal or anything like that, but just like personal. And I just didn't feel I didn't feel good about myself. I felt weird. So anyway, I got out of the traditional corporate, uh, working at Walmart, the retail sales, that type of environment, sitting behind a desk, that type of scene. And I went into the startup world, and I started doing the Lyft and the Ubers and the Postmates and the Grubhub. I did that for about 6 months, and then I moved back to Texas to live with my grandmother. I hate to talk about, I hate to say these type of things, but you know what? I've definitely been taking advantage of a great family, and I mean I have a great family, and they're real supportive when it comes to things that they know. When it comes to things that they don't know, they're not exactly that supportive. It goes back to the whenever I wasn't feeling myself when I was working behind a desk, retail sales behind a counter. I wasn't feeling myself when I was doing that. I felt I felt worthless. I felt like a prisoner in a prison cell. Um, So okay, so I did the Uber and the Lyft thing, and then I went back. I don't know why I did this, but I went back to the corporate structure. I worked for a company that was a complete fraud, complete scam, selling and converting people to DirecTV who had AT&T services because AT&T did purchase DirecTV. It's a long story, but it was one of the most scamming things. It cost me more to work there than I ever made there. I mean, I built some relationships while I was there, so you could say that it was valuable there. But those relationships have actually turned out to be a scam and bullshit anyway. So after there was a business change with that, and I guess I kind of talked shit to somebody who was talking shit to me, and then that person didn't like that I was a masculine person. He was used to a bunch of bitch made motherfuckers around him. Oh yeah, excuse me. This is does have explicit warning. I think I forgot to put it on Facebook, but anyway, so I stopped doing that, and then I started Austin Live and Local. So Austin Live and Local for some time was my project. It was what I've been trying to make go somewhere, be something, help support artist brands and events in the Austin, Texas area. Didn't start out that way. It originally started off as just like a couple of friends sitting on the couch. Those are the friends that I made while I was working with AT&T. But they were frauds. They were phonies. They didn't really want to go to the next level as far as creating a real project. Um, so the next thing I did was convert that show with Brian to something a little bit more professional in studio. We had been discussing it. I brought Brian on to do talent management for Chris, Sebastian, and Robert to see if we couldn't get them to continue doing their photography work, and take that to the next level, and look into sponsorships and all these things, and kind of like give them a direction and be a motivational person um, behind their work. Uh, it was probably not the best decision on my part, considering that um, he already had a full time commitment, and now that that's changing, it seems like it is what it is. It's changing now with what he's got going on, and I wish him the best, and I hope that um, working class violence is a great podcast between him and the Assad or something like that. I forgot his first name. Um, and then I hope that Common Chaos takes off to where it can be. I mean, I really haven't talked on this subject matter on record, uh, but it, me and him have no personal quarrels. It's more specifically about the business. I just don't think that he went down the right path with that. I think that he's going to be struggling for a while, and I don't think that he took anything that uh, we discussed production wise toward what he's doing now. But that's just the case. I mean, we started. I think that maybe this will light a fire under him, and he'll start doing taking production quality serious on for that particular show. But I mean, unless he remembers the talents overnight or figures that out, it's gonna be a while. But I do hope that both those shows take it to the next level. Um, and it goes to show you right here that maybe the motivation or whatever behind what we were doing was not there. And you know, I take blame for most of it, because I was continuing to feel negative after after events that we did or artists that we worked for. And the reason why I was feeling negative is because I felt like we didn't accomplish to our best of our abilities on a lot of these circumstances, and that we were being taken advantage of in so many ways. And it just, and it keeps on stacking, because I see things that I was trying to tell these individuals that I'm working with, like, look, this is what's gonna make us look the best. This is what's gonna make us work the best, and we get, and then I felt like I was providing people with an opportunity to do things that they had never done before, and maybe that's it. In certain circumstances where they've never done things before, they're not ready to roll with it. You know, it's a matter. This is where I think I would fit well into the martial arts discussion, is because everybody's doing the technique, but it doesn't matter if you know the technique if you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable or you're outside of your element. When you're outside of your element, you're not in control of the situation. You should be able to dance with any partner. So if you're in a situation where you know uh, on on the ground or upright, it doesn't matter, and you shouldn't be the one. You should be happy to be in a position where that is, but there should be a discussion as to, oh, should we stand up, or, oh, should we roll, and and there should be some friction in that, but at least ultimately knowing that uh, that nobody's going to use technique in those situations and execute it to their best ability, because there is friction. Nobody's gonna be able to do it. Nah, 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 nah. I hear what I'm saying here, and I'm saying that you know everybody's gonna have different opinions. Blah blah blah. There's just gotta be a winner. It's a top dog comes up on top. Those type of things. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that there needs to be less less structure and more structure at the same time. you know. But you can't suck dick on boxing or suck dick on MMA and just keep sucking that one dick. You gotta like a little bit of MMA, like a little bit of boxing, like a little bit of kickboxing, like a little bit of these different things, um, and then see how they all can mesh together. And if they don't mesh together, even force them to mesh together. But that's how diversity is created. Um, Let me see what else. What else is on the topic? So, we got through the Austin Live and Local thing. Then I've been looking for. I was doing contract work, social media marketing. I was driving. Sorry. I was bartending. Um, and bartending was what it was, but I was spending more money. That's another thing where I was spending more money than I was earning, and the working conditions in that were terrible. You earn piddly shit, and the tips are dog shit, and it's like you know the people there, they don't give a shit. They just want you to serve them the drinks and shut the fuck up. But then there are also the ones that don't want any drinks and want to sit there and get talked to all night. And you're thinking, what the hell? Like, at least give me some money, for God's sakes. It's not like we're friends or some shit like that. Where you're looking for your friends and your bartender. That ain't gonna happen. Go find a therapist and pay them money. But I've been talking about this more recently and saying how ineffective that is, and it's essentially the same job. Bartending and being a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, well, maybe a psychiatrist, are essentially the same thing. You're serving them the psychiatrist is serving them a product that may or may not solve their problems. Psychologists are talking to people, but you know what? In a psychiatry and psychologist, you know what you're getting. You're going there and you're gonna pay the money. You're gonna get that shit. I think the industry and the health care, mental health care industry is fucked up. I think that you go there, you're expecting them to work for the money that you're paying them because it is a direct supply and demand. Whereas bartending's not that way. Anybody can sit at the stool and start talking shit, and doing their asking questions and a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? So next, I guess the next thing is that I've kind of realized that I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of the things like bartending, social media management, marketing, advertising, film production, all of this, and be the head of the company because I feel like I'm a liability to the company. I mean, I talk shit. I say what's on my mind. I feel a different way than the mainstream. Uh, I, I think that the mainstream is catching up with the way that I feel, with these little rappers, with these new Instagram models, with now actors, musicians. All these people got to be triple threats. They got to be on their Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook. They got to be on their Snapchat. They got to be getting up on Vero. They got to be entrepreneurs. They got to have a business. They got to be selling a product. Let me, I mean, I could ramble and ramble and ramble on and on about all this and discuss about the topics at hand. But I'm not the authority. So how am I? Who am I to speak on this? But I feel like I can begin to get this conversation going at some point. I feel like the people that I've built a relationship with, the people that maybe I'm not that close to, or because a lot of times when I was working with Brian on Austin Live and Local, I tried to stay behind the scenes. I mean, I'd say a little thing here or do a little thing there, and but mostly I was trying to put together the technical aspects of production. So I would be the one with the video, putting the video up, and I'd say, "Nice to meet you. How you doing? Oh, great, great, great. How's it going? How's your family? How your kids? How's your job going? Dot dot dot. But honestly, on the production side of these sorts of things like podcasts, live streams, videos, it takes so much. It takes so much time and so much effort, and there are all these problems that you run into that that you can't be the only one. You just can't, and I don't think I'm the one to be the head of the company either. I'm not the most business savvy. I didn't go to school to, for business. I don't have my MBA. I mean, uh, I was about to go through this program that got canceled to get like a crash course MBA program while helping develop businesses, while helping develop the business, but it didn't pan out, and so now I'm stuck in this situation where that money that was coming from that from helping develop those businesses hasn't yet come through. So I'm in a very peculiar situation. You know, I'm I'm in love with live streaming, and when you say that, it has connotations that come to it that are negative. You know, 50% of society. I don't know if it's 50-50, but I'm just gonna say 50% of society. 50% of society says that all live streaming is cam girls getting naked on cam girls or guys, mostly cam girls because it's a lot more lucrative to be a cam girl than a cam guy. Um, at least at this time, because of the distribution of nude and softcore and hardcore pornography. It's more lucrative to be a cam girl than a cam guy. Though that, from what I've heard through documentaries and things like that, in the actual video on demand services and DVDs and blah blah blah, it's more lucrative to be a bisexual man who who is a cam guy. I guess that what you would say. But anyway, um, bisexual or gay. Some people are gonna argue that there's no such thing as bisexual. You're gay if you, yeah, whatever. That's not a topic that I get into that much. And with everything that's going on now in today's political climate, with the Me Too movement and the LGBTQ RS XYZ movement or whatever. Pardon me, I had to get a sip on some Gatorade. Um, it's just baffling. I grew up in a very open, not too crazy liberal, but open minded conservative family. That would say that it's great that everybody should be able to live their own life, but those people live over there. We acknowledge that those people are over there, but we're here. This is what we believe in our society, and these people are over here, the ones that are doing all this that's not okay. And even in this community that we live in, we do deal with our own problems. But this community over here is a complete contradiction to what our community is. Now keep that over there, but let us live our lives over here. We'll accept that's going on, but you don't. We're not going over there to snatch your children. You shouldn't come over here to snatch our children. You know what I mean? We're not living in the Mongolian age where Genghis Khan is coming in and raping the men, women, children, everything. We should be not, civil. We should be civil about this type of sort of stuff. We don't need all this. We don't need Antifa coming in here and making a big russ. Socialism and fascism are two ends of the coin. You got one coin, one the head of the coin. You got the tail end of the coin. I don't know which side's which, but they're both socialist and fascism. I'm sorry, socialism and then two structures of that: communism and fascism. Okay, and Come on now, man. We got all this shit going on, and and aggression and beating people and all this is not going to be the way to solve the problems. But definitely y'all stay over there, I'll stay over here kind of mentality is the best way to take it, because all those gays, fags, or whatever, that gays, fags, homosexuals, trannies, however you want to. I mean, these aren't PC culture. You know, these aren't the things that everybody says, but these are words that are thrown around. I hardly, I hardly ever use the N word, and it's hard. I hardly ever use. I use the F word a lot more than I use the N word. But I can't say I'm holier than thou that I haven't been, conned into saying the N word either by this text to speech TTS world that we live in, where they put on a video, and then in the middle of you're watching an Instagram video, someone trolls you, and then it's just the N word going off and off and off and off and off again. And then you're just disgusted, because you're like, well, that comes up, and you start thinking about things that don't have to do with the realities, and I hate it, because it comes down to it when I having to defend myself and thinking, well, I said the N word, but I'm Native American. It was much worse for the Native Americans than it ever was for the African Americans, and in fact, the African Americans that are Native American as well. That's where the fucking shit hits the fan, you know. But hell, think back to freaking, like I said, the Mongolian Empire. Problem is none of these motherfuckers know their history. So, I don't really know all my history. I know a little bit about my history, my the things that I got going in my life. you know, and I'm trying to touch base with everybody here. I'm trying to get everybody to get on the same page and go to the next level with all of this, uh, these concepts, because we're living in a terrible, terrible world right now. Everybody's looking at each other like the next suspect. We're all police and being cops to our brothers next door, and our sisters next door, and the girl next door, and the boy next door, and the father next door, and the mother next door, and we're all telling them how they should live their lives. Don't say the N word. Don't say the F word. Don't say the B word. Don't say the T word. Don't say the A word. All this. Every word is now a curse word. It doesn't matter if it's a stereotype or an archetype. They're all curse words. And that's the type of liberal, communist, socialist agendas that I don't believe in. I don't want to live in a society like that. I don't want to live in a society where I'm forced to be part of the singularity, and I don't get to be the man I was when I was born, because they throw you through a chicken nugget compiler, and you become a man, woman, dog, whatever. You see all this shit going on in the news. Trump meeting with Putin. I mean, who really knows what was going on in that conversation? Unless you were there, and even if you were there, they're gonna want to paint the picture that uh, the, they're, we are gonna paint it in a picture in which the majority of people are going to buy a product. So if Trump and Putin were just talking about, uh, I don't know, paper production, they're gonna say they were talking about diamonds, oil, and fucking what else? Diamonds, oil, and grass, probably fucking weed at this point, with the cannabis business popping up and everything. But um, where was I going with that? Oh, and they're gonna say something, and we're talking about transfer, and tell them all this nonsense. That's gonna get all these clickbait headlines, and those things were probably never spoken about, and it's just gonna be slandering from the left, slandering from the right back to the left. Um, yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. All right, so I feel like we're caught up now to the where we're at today, with what's going on in society. Um, YouTube stars are getting paid the most from this advertisement uh, world that we live in now. They're uh, they're doing things that are wild dumb. We got 14-year-old girls on the internet with their, you know, with getting breast augmentation and and basically showing their nude photos, well, soft nude if you want to call it, but basically being basically wearing nothing. 14-year-old girls with breast augmentation and ass injections, and we're just looking at it like we're looking at it in a whole different perspective now. But I don't think we're talking about it enough. I think that we should really be talking about these subjects other than and Trump and Putin meeting over in fucking Russia or whatnot. Who? Why? I mean, the more relative things that are going on in our lives are Daniel Bergoli, XX Tentacion getting gunned down in the streets out in Florida, Jake Paul just lying his teeth out all the time. Uh, this upcoming boxing match that's going on, we're talking real money. You know, they, I mean, the Floyd Mayweather McGregor fight was the biggest fight that we've had in a long time, and the cash that was involved in that conversation was pretty large. But they ain't making money like YouTube right now. YouTube's got all the money. Pay per view ain't shit. Maybe, I mean, the only argument that is that the families that can afford pay per view are gonna pay higher dollar amounts to see the fight than someone who's a young kid on YouTube. But let's say that fight was $5, you had to pay extra, or sorry, it was a YouTube Red, or sorry, YouTube Premium uh, only service, and you had to pay that extra 14, $15 a day. There'd be far more numbers watching that than there was watching the McGregor fight. Now I see what you guys are saying. I can see the counter argument is that there's not enough marketing and advertising for that particular fight, and the answer to that is true because the establishment always has more. Well, not uh, the establishment always is assumed to have more uh, capital than what is not the establishment. But then there goes to show you that the political atmosphere that in our last election that wasn't true. I mean, but I'll buy it. Trump is is a part of the establishment, at least the bourgeoisie of America with business. He's a part of the establishment financially, politically not so much. I mean, he's been deemed from older generations as being a creep or a pervert. But the younger generations don't see him in this light because we're constantly being bombarded with sexually charged advertisement and visual content. So we don't see it. We don't see it as inappropriate as in the older generations. Also, the access to more and more people are being sexually abused, so it seems it seems that it's culturally acceptable. So you see things like that, and it's not culturally acceptable at all. But what it is that it's desensitized to the younger culture. And so I believe what happened was in the election is that these topics that older generations seem to think were pertinent, were not pertinent to the younger generations because they're coming up with basically they're coming up basically as cyborgs directly attached to their communication devices, which are basically implanted in the back of their brains. These cell phones are just that's not really what's going on here. And we all know that, in this in this sci-fi dystopian future that we're going towards, or this or I was on the phone with someone yesterday or the day before, discussing all kinds of different possibilities of the realities that we live in. But we make up these realities. We make these realities up, and there is some influence as to what the realities are. However, we make these realities up. Um, Whether that's through religion, culture, race, creed, whatever it is, we make the realities up. They don't have to be that. Yeah, and that's the strongest argument coming from the from the people who want socialism, and that's pure socialism. But that has never worked before in society. There's always been a top dog. There's always been someone who is on top that is performing the best, um, and has the most attributes. And this goes to show you, uh, or this just goes to prove, not to go to show you, but this just goes to prove why we have the top Fortnite streamer being Ninja, because he's a conglomeration of of basically looking like a girl, behaving in between, and he's trying to be politically correct but extremely competitive. So there's just all these things that lead you to believe the top sport right now, esports, uh, is that's why we have that figurehead in that lane right there, is because it has to appeal to the masses. It can't appeal to a certain demographic. I mean, I just watched the episode of Mom's Basement with FaZe Banks and Ninja and Keemstar, and they were discussing how the patriarchal nature of sports bled into esports, and as we see esports developing into a new, more socially open society where we're accepting different um, races, creeds, genders, dot dot dot, whatever you want to go in different directions with it. We see that the peace, politically correctness the of the top five streamers, top five content creators, dot dot dot, is becoming more and more, is becoming more and more PC culture, at least from the brands uh, willing to pay money to sponsor those characters. But what we haven't seen is in traditional sports, traditional entertainment media, having seen them transition into the reality television of what today is. Um, we have a Kylie Jenner, a Kim Kardashian, a Kanye West, a Jay Z. We have all these guys, but their exposure is nowhere near the Little Pumps, the Little Xans, um, the XXX Tentacions, the DJ Academics, someone who is adopting this new mindset, Joe Budden, and we're talking hip hop. We haven't even seen it happen in country music yet, or rock music, or anything, and that's why we're gonna see these more, I guess, disassociated genres in the world kind of falling to the wayside, because there's no masculine, because country music is masculine and feminine. There's no powerful masculine man to go on there in country music and be on social media, Instagram, putting daily posts out there, on Snapchat, putting out daily posts, on Facebook, putting out daily posts, weekly, putting out a music video, you know, and then we don't have a female character to do that at all, because why would she do that in country music if she can just go over and show her ass and flap her cheeks for in hip hop? You know, that's why we have a Bebe Reha, or whatever the hell you want to pronounce it is as, or a Taylor Swift, or Ariana Grande. They don't fit inside of that box, because we don't have that. That's why we see the nonsense that went on with Miley Cyrus. Let's, I mean, we we need a conservative woman without race, whatever that is, to be a powerful. Even Beyonce isn't this. She's too liberal. She's too left wing. She's always saying some random dumb shit that nobody conservative believes in. We need a conservative woman without race or with creed. I definitely believe this woman should be, very religious, whatever that religion may be, but at least empowering with those religious statements. And we just saw Justin Bieber, um, get divided with this new, uh, with picking up a side chick of Drake's and the Weeknd's. There's there's so much stuff going on that we can't even really discuss pop culture. Pop culture, there's there we got to divide it into archetypes. We got to divide it all into these different archetypes, and we got to see each of these archetypes competing for the top spot. But country and rock aren't even competing. They're not even in the discussion. Every single day we're talking about hip hop. We're talking about Instagram models showing their ass cheeks and twerking on camera, with this "In My Feelings" Drake challenge. They shaking it before they make it. I mean, the good thing about this is that, and maybe the bad thing about this is that you don't have to show as much skin on Instagram, uh, and they're making buku bucks more than a porn star. You know, um, what else I got to say? I mean, that's just the content that I'm being served up, today on my feeds, is the discussion of masculinity, femininity, the patriarchal society versus the matriarchal society, and esports, and and being a caretaker for your community, and let's talk about the politics of Austin. So at the federal level, and even at the state level, we see a little bit more participation within the community. What I don't see at the local level, which would be the Austin City Council districts and all those things, and then additionally where I live, outskirts of Austin, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Cedar Park, Georgetown, all of these areas, we don't see a strong presence of political characters. These political characters are, majority of them are masculine, patriarchal figureheads, and we don't see a lot of matriarch. I'd rather have an Instagram model who's gonna give me ice cream all day than uh uh Instagram model. Not a masculine one, but a feminine one with big butts and big titties, or whatever, big butts, big titties, or a flat chest, no ass, running, whatever. These type of, we're all saying the same thing. It is what it is on Instagram, but I'd rather have that than a Hitler, you know, old man who didn't know shit about Instagram, doesn't know what's going on in my life, because my life, I'm gaining all this data, and he doesn't even get that data because he's stuck in reading a goddamn newspaper. Nah, I see what I see the reality. Maybe he's checking Twitter because Donald Trump's on Twitter, but Donald Trump's on everything. But just because the presence is more on Twitter, that then we gotta discuss it from an old man mentality, or old woman mentality of Twitter. But we're talking about married folks, and married folks are just dumb. Married folks don't give a shit about the rest of society, and that's another thing that we need to discuss because as we're moving on in society, we're seeing that monogamy is going to the wayside in all creeds and races. And the reason why that is because these girls, these guys, myself, you, everyone involved is playing the game. You know, you're trying to meet the person that will be your best teammate or your best teammates in being successful in this life. Man, maybe that's money, maybe that's sex, maybe that's what's the word for it? Um, Possessions, whatever those things are. You know, maybe you're not as rich as you want to be, but you had a lot of good things in your life. You know, maybe it's experiences, whatever. Uh, Doing your best to accomplish those things and getting them, but maybe it's not monogamous. Maybe it's polyamorous. Or maybe it's a little different. Different. Who knows? Um, but you know, I love having these discussions to figure out what is the apex for the human to accomplish the best life that they can live. Um, and I don't tell people how to live their lives, but if I don't like it, I would appreciate it if it would be lived in uh, another. I appreciate it if I saw it and I can look at it and I can be like, man, and I can applaud the accomplishments when something goes right for the other side. But whenever it's not going right for the other side, now this is where things are. The English is getting is not the best language to probably speak about this subject. Maybe there's another language, alien or foreign or whatever, to discuss to speak on this, or maybe I don't know English well enough to discuss this. But you know, philosophy of the mind is the most important thing to be discussed, because we're in a very troubling time. And I just saw a video of some dumbass trying to do math, and and doesn't. I hate to say dumbass because maybe they're not a dumbass. Maybe they're just not educated enough on in math, and they put out a video about math and they're doing the problem wrong, and then they say, oh well, this is a fact, and it's clickbait, and you're looking at it and it just aggravates you because you know that the way that they did that math was wrong, or the way that they said that this element and this element go together in science and shit, and you're like, no, that's not how it works because you've seen it, you tested it yourself before, you put the phosphates and the this over that, and you're just like, golly. And sometimes things just happen, but math's kind of straightforward. You learn a certain way, and that's the way it is. um there's a lot, there's just so many things going on in the life these days. Elon Musk, um Jeff Bezos, Donald Trump, Sergey Brin, Larry Page, you know, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, you know, yeah. You know, I know you guys know. So on when we're talking these big, we're talking big subjects here. We're talking about the evolution of humanity. In addition, the power structure of the United States of America, and how our culture is eating itself from within, and we are a cancer because we don't get enough. We're not helping each other. If you got a 80 IQ and you don't deserve to work, well, shit. All right, well then, well, not that you don't deserve to work, but at least let's figure out some way of not. Uh, Somebody's got to take responsibility, whether it's small business, big business, whatever it is. Somebody take responsibility. I mean, I'm trying to do my best out here for the people. I'm trying to provide jobs, but I'm being shot down every single second by small business or big business. Not the there's no there nobody's out here trying to help each other. You know, maybe that's because it's not till tomorrow that you get help, or it's not till and then you give up, and with all this suicidal talk out there, and with all this depression and anxiety, and everybody's got somebody's got autism, everybody's got autism, uh, and everybody's an ist, and we're all talking about this, and we're pissed. uh, Man. Anyway, I just want to I want to get the conversation going, and I really believe that I'm gonna do a couple of these things solo, and it's gonna be a bunch of ramblings and going on and just letting the next thing flow into the next thing. I'll do some of these over phone call. I'll do some of these with in person in the studio. I might do some of these on location. It's a matter of just figuring out what it is, and we'll get it going. But this is the first step. This is the first new episode. This in this new way, and I definitely want to see how it goes. But this is Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Show, and I'll catch you on the next one.